Okay, we continue now in the second part of the Hebrew lesson this morning with rule number 7 concerning the conjunction. When the conjunction starts or stands immediately before the accented syllable, especially when it connects a pair of words, it is wow. That is wow with the commas a underneath it. I repeat, when the conjunction stands immediately before a word that has an accented syllable, like in la yala or ra, which is just one syllable, so it could have an accent there, or koshek, the accent is on the first syllable. When you have the conjunction standing right before a word that starts with an accented syllable, then what has to be underneath the vowel is commas a long sound. Also, if it is joining a pair of words together. For example, day and night. Yom wa layla. Notice that this is joining together a pair of words. The words are Yom, Layla. And also, the conjunction is right before a word that starts with an accented syllable. So when the conjunction is immediately before a word that starts with an accented syllable, and here is the symbol of the accent, the arrowhead, and when it is joining together a pair of words like Yom and Layla, day and night, then it is going to be written like this. The vowel and then commas a, the long ah sound underneath it. Yom wa Layla, day and night. Tov wa ra. Notice two characteristics are joined together here. Two different characteristics. Tov, which is good. Ra, which is evil. Good and evil. Two different states or conditions of the sky around us. Or, which is light. Koshek, which is darkness. Or wa koshek, light and darkness. In each case, notice the conjunction is before a word that starts with an accented syllable. Notice it starts with an accented syllable. Although you don't see any accent mark here, the rule is that there is always an accent. If it is just a one syllable word, then the accent is there even if you don't see it. Okay, so there is an accent right here, and so you don't have the simple shawab, but you have commas a. So that's rule number 7. Yeah. Can come here and show me where you are pointing to. So, and your question is? Okay, now Ayin is represented by this, what did I say? By this symbol. It doesn't have it doesn't have an English letter that can represent it. There are some Hebrews that will say that if it comes at the end of a word, you can pronounce it as an NG, like an N sound. But generally speaking, the Hebrews may not pronounce it, and it is represented in English writing by this symbol, like a quotation mark. So tov is good, tov is good, wa is the conjunction, and ra, that's how you pronounce it, ra is evil. Now this word here, even though you don't have the accent mark, because a word must have an accent, it doesn't mean it doesn't have an accent when you don't see the accent mark. If it is a word that has just one syllable, then the accent would have to be on that syllable. If it has two or more syllables, the accent is always trying to go to the very last syllable of a word. But when it only has one syllable, there is no other place for the accent to go than on that one syllable. So even though you don't see the accent here, it is accented. The accent is taken for granted. It is assumed that it is there. So even though you don't have the arrowhead over here, it is still assumed that since it's only one syllable, and this is the only word it can go on to, which has one syllable, the accent is to be pronounced. Even if it is not represented by a symbol, it is to be pronounced. It is to be stressed. So when the conjunction comes before a word that has an accent, then it cannot be wet, it has to be wa. It cannot be wet, it has to be wa. And also when it is joining two words together, like day and night, good and evil, light and dark. Yeah. Any other question? Whenever you have a question, I think it might be good for the viewers and also for me to take this ruler and to point out the part of what is on the screen that you don't understand, so that I will be in a better position to discuss it with you and with the internet audience. Any other question on rule number 7?
Can you go one more time?
No problem, no problem. So we're looking at rule number 7, and there are two parts of it. The first part is this: if the conjunction comes immediately before a word that starts with an accent, the first syllable of that word, like how you would ordinarily write the Hebrew conjunction, you would have waw. You would have waw, the letter or the consonant waw, and under the waw, you will have what looks like our English capital T, called in Hebrew kames A, or kames, representing the long ah sound. So if the conjunction comes before a word like Laila, notice that the first syllable in Laila has an accent mark, an accent symbol. This arrowhead represents in our Hebrew grammars an accent. So when you see a word that has this mark over the first syllable, you know that the first syllable is to be stressed or emphasized. It has an accent. So If you have a conjunction coming before a word like this, and the first syllable in that word is accented, then it should have underneath the vowel comments, a long sound. You see over here too. This is the word koshek. The first syllable, again, a maxim, just like in Moshe, so here in koshek. Ordinarily, you would be expecting in the pronunciation of koshek to see a vowel representing the long O right over here on the left side of this first letter. You don't see it. All you see is the dot over the shin. But what happened in the case of Moshe happened in the case of Koshek. The colon, the long O sound, and the dot over the shin, the right side of shin, join themselves together. The grammatical term used in the grammars is coalesced. They coalesced, that is, they came together, they joined together. So instead of seeing two separate dots, you only see one dot. One of the dots in here is the O for ko, and the other dot is the sh for shin. Okay, now notice that the first syllable, ko, is accented. The conjunction goes immediately before the first syllable. Whenever the conjunction goes before a word and the first syllable of that word is accented, it must have a comes a. The conjunction must have a comes a sound, represented by this symbol, like our capital English T, underneath it. And another thing to remember is that if the conjunction is joining two words together, like day and night, good and evil, light and darkness, it should have the commas underneath the vowel. So those are the two things to look out for. Number one, is the conjunction immediately in front of a word, and in that word, the first syllable is accented? Another thing, is that conjunction joining two words together? It is clear that two words are being joined together. Let us say contrasting words, day and night, good and evil, boy and girl. Is it joining two words together? Then it should be the vowel, and then under the vowel is the symbol looking like our capital T in English, commas or commas A, sound. Anything more? All right. Okay, now let us look at this tutorial that will give us a reinforcement or support of what I've shared with you. So I'm going to be going into YouTube from this link. You don't think I will need the speaker? Or I'll wait for you to come with the speaker. Okay, so that you viewers on the internet can hear this clearly. In a few seconds, the sound is going to get greater so that you can hear what we're about to see concerning the Hebrew conjunction. What I like to do is to look on the internet to see if there is any Hebrew lesson that can help us to understand even better what I am teaching here in the classroom. So just give us a few seconds. All right. and you can reach for the light switch.
This is Introduction to Hebrew, Lesson 7, Conjunctions. In this lesson, we're going to cover the information in pages 55 through 59 of the Basics of Biblical Hebrew Charts PDF file, and pages 25 and 26 of the Charts of Biblical Hebrew workbook. You'll also want to look at Hebrew vocab free video to continue building your Hebrew vocabulary. A conjunction joins words, phrases, or clauses together. In English, we use terms like and or but as typical conjunctions. In Hebrew, the conjunction will usually appear as a ba with a shiva underneath in front of most Hebrew words. In the chart below, we see three Hebrew terms. The first is isha, which means a woman. The next term is bet isha, and a woman. Notice the ba with the shiva in front of isha, which is the conjunction. To say and the woman, it is bet ha-isha. If a Hebrew word begins with beit, name, or pay, the conjunction will appear as a short. In the chart below, you see three Hebrew terms again. The first is melech, which means a king. U-melech means and a king. The third Hebrew term is u-pharaoh, and pharaoh. If a Hebrew word begins with a shiva, the conjunction will also appear as a short. In the chart below, we have three Hebrew terms. The first one is sepharim, which means books. To add a conjunction, put a short in front of that, sepharim, and books. The third Hebrew term, shmuel, is a proper noun, which means sandal. You add a short in front, shmuel, to say and sandal. If a Hebrew word begins with a hatet vowel, the conjunction will take the full matching short vowel. The first Hebrew term in the chart below is anashim, which means men. Notice that under the aleph, you have a hatet, hatet. So the conjunction will take a full hatet. So we have a ba with a hatet, ba anashim, and men. The third Hebrew term is emet, which means truth. Notice that under the aleph, there is a hatet segol. So the conjunction will take a full segol. Bet, emet, and truth. Before some monosyllabic Hebrew words, or words that begin with an initial accent, the conjunction will take a conus. In the chart below, we see the Hebrew term tzom, which means sheep. To add the conjunction, we have a ba with a conus, ba tzom, and sheep. The third term is lechem, which means bread. We have the ba and the conus, ba lechem, and bread.